By the next speaker, Dr. Keyu Kunji-Moidin, to address us on anabolic steroids and male infertility.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I thank Dr. Gautam for giving me this opportunity. And here we are going to discuss about anabolic steroids and male infertility. It's a very recent, very well discussed topic in the last few years. And isolation and characterization of testosterone was done in 1935. And since then, there were a lot of synthetic derivatives. And these derivatives are called anabolic androgenic steroids. Initially, these were used by professional athletes and bodybuilders. But recently, many of the recreational and non-professional athletes started using it. And since then, there were a lot of studies regarding the effects of this on various health aspects, including male infertility. 3 million users, 2/3 were non-competitive bodybuilders for aesthetic purposes. It's a huge number. And there are a lot of dietary supplements and steroid contamination rate in these supplements with anabolic steroid is almost 15 to 20%. Few facts about testosterone in human body. It's the most important androgen in the body, and it's most evident during puberty. And with the rise of testosterone levels in males, there is onset of secondary male features, hair growth pattern, sebaceous gland activity, and maturation of sperm and libido. And daily synthesis is 2.1 to 11 milligram, plasma level of 300 to 1000 nanogram per ml, and it decreases with age more towards the age of 50 years. Testosterone and 5-DHT adds on the androgen receptors, aromatized to estradiol, resulting in water retention and breast tissue growth. That's one of the physiological effect of exogenous testosterone usage. And what is anabolism and androgenism? Anabolism, nitrogen is differentially retained in lean body mass through the stimulation of protein synthesis and reduction in protein breakdown. It results in growth promotion, collagen synthesis, and increase in muscle mass and bone metabolism. And testosterone has a 1:1 anabolic androgenic ratio. So these two are the different effects of testosterone. There are a lot of things beyond testosterone. These are anabolic androgenic steroids. There are structural modifications to maximize the anabolic effects and minimize the androgenic effects. Because what the bodybuilders and the recreational people, they do want the anabolic effects than the androgenic effects. But virilizing if administered for long time, that's its side effect. That androgenic effect will be more evident if it being used for long time. And anabolic effects are dose dependent, and supraphysiological testosterone levels are more than 1000 nanogram per deciliter. Androgenic anabolic steroids are classified according to route of administration and their carrier solvent. Orally administered ones, substitution of 17 alpha hydrogen on steroid nucleus of a methyl or ethyl group This substitution prevents deactivation of steroid by hepatic first-pass metabolism and promotes oral activity. But it has a short half-life, and there are a lot of preparations like stanozolol, oxandrolone, and methyl testosterone. There are parenterally administered anabolic androgenic steroids also. These are 17 beta-esterified steroids. 17 beta hydroxyl group is esterified with an acid moiety to prevent rapid release from the oily molecules. So it has long effect, longer half-life, and slower absorption. And less hepatic stress, but because of the oily preparation, there can be pain at the injection site. Testosterone undecanoate, cypionate, and propionate are various preparations. And 19-nortestosterone or nandrolone is high anabolic and androgenic ratio, and it's very popular. There are other preparations like trenbolone and boltenone. Testosterone-like effect. Then the classification is again going on based on the effects. One is testosterone-like effects allows great muscle strength, anabolic androgen ratio close to 1:1, includes all testosterone esters and methyl testosterone. And DHT-like effect, highly androgenic, low water and salt retention, stanozolol and oxandrolone are well-known examples. And nandrolone-like effect, least potent, highest ratio, Some progesterone-like activity also will be there. Reverse catabolic stages, like in cachexic states like AIDS, severe burns, COPD, etc. And the commonly used preparations are nandrolone esters and trembolone. And these are various types of administration like stacking and cycling. Different oral and injectable compounds are generally combined, stacking. Lower doses of multiple drugs. Multiple drugs will be used for great effect and reduce the chance of complications. It's rationally combine different effects like combination of testosterone and nandrolone, mass building stacks, dieting and body definition. And there will be cutting stacks like the drugs will be discontinued for some time. It may combine with opioids, diuretics, and growth hormones, and also sometimes with insulins, low-dose insulins. And self-administered in periods of 4 to 12 weeks. Physiological and clinical effects, it increases renal erythropoiesis, lipolysis, protein synthesis, sebaceous secretion, and hair growth, and libido. Most of them are the androgenic effects. Anti-glucocorticoid effects, anti-catabolic effects, which are very useful. And increase in muscular activity, hypertrophy of skeletal muscle fibers involving muscle cells and undifferentiated satellite cells. Formation of myoblasts, that's why the muscle mass increases, but there is no increase in the muscle cell number. Does not increase the number of fibers, only their size will be increased. But more noted ones are the side effects, like the androgenic side effects like acne, alopecia, and prostatic enlargement related to strong androgenic 5-DHT effect. Erectile dysfunction and libido loss, especially after discontinuation, and higher aromatization of testosterone to estradiol can result in gynecomastia. And due to the hepatic bypass, hepatic effects, cardiovascular effects like hypertension and arrhythmias, and sometimes renal failure secondary to myolysis and proliferative glomerulonephritis. Aggressive behavior, depression, mood swings, altered libido, euphoria, psychosis are also can be there with the long-term administration. Classic effects, oligospermia or azoospermia, these are the effects which it can result in male infertility, like oligospermia or azoospermia with long-term use, abnormalities in sperm motility and morphology, it can be reversible in 4 to 12 months of stopping. Negative effect on sperm quality persists for a long time. Rather than the sperm count and motility, the morphological changes that will persist for a long time. And hypogonadism is the long-term effect, decreased testosterone, testicular atrophy, and impaired spermatogenesis. Negative feedback of androgens on hypothalamo-pituitary axis, and local suppressive effect of exogenous androgen on testes. So the intratesticular testosterone level will come down, and that can result in all the sperm abnormalities. Low FSH and LH, high serum androgens, lower intratesticular androgen, it reduces the spermatogenesis again. And there can be Leydig cell alterations, decreased steroidogenesis, and increased germ cell apoptosis that will result in long-term morphological abnormalities. And XY and chromosome 1N and disomies abnormalities in meiotic process and genetic damage are the resulting effects. So what should we do? Its main advice is to discontinue the treatment. And it can be medically treated for some patients. The use of HCG alone or in combination with HMG. HCG 2000 to 3000 units 3 times a week for 3 months. Or another recommendation is 10,000 units twice a week along with HMG, 75 units daily for 3 months. And another effective, safe alternative is IMSI. IMSI is always preferred over ICSI due to the increase in sperm abnormalities, which is more persistent and long-standing than the sperm count and motility. And there are a lot of regulatory agencies which monitor the use of anabolic androgenic steroids in the athletes, the World Anti-Doping Agency. And the urine test, today there are a lot of tests, it can determine whether a person has or not taken any anabolic steroids during the previous 30 days. And to conclude, impact on male fertility is least reported. Even though there are a lot of studies regarding the effect of the side effects on the cardiovascular system, all other renal system, etc. But the male fertility status, few studies only have I could find out. And the main advantage is that majority of the dysfunctions are reversal, but few of them are long-standing. Correct medical orientation, identification of users, and prompt clinical management is mandatory. And a physical examination, semen analysis, and hormone profiles will guide you to a proper management. And there are a lot of cases, there are spontaneous reversals. Gonadotropins are useful in some and IMSI for some patients. Thank you. Thank you for the patient.